Good evening, everybody. This is Steve. George Orwell says, in the time of universal deceit, truth is looked at as a revolutionary act. Well, as always, I'm here to tell you the truth. That is not a statement of arrogance. It's not a statement of perfection. It's not a statement that I know everything. But when it comes to driving a semi across the country, I know everything humanly possible. When it comes to welding a pipe in a steam line, I know everything humanly possible about that. There are certain things that if those of us who study really hard, and every time I've undertaken something, it has been my goal to be the best that I can possibly be at it. It pisses people off that I love being right. Not so that I can prove someone wrong. Not so that it makes me superior. It's just a thing inside my brain that tells me that being right is the best status. Factually right. Proven right. Not opinion right. There's no such thing as opinion right. Opinion is like a little ball of a jellyfish that you try to press down with your finger. It just squirms everywhere and goes everywhere, and its only use is to itself. The little ball of jellyfish, and your opinion is only useful to you. This is about our president-to-be in a few days. And as a friend of mine so pointed out very, very eloquently in a blog, Rachel, it's not about politics anymore. We're closer and closer to a dictatorship. One of the first signs of a dictatorship is the leader of the country shuts down the press. Look back 8 years at the things that you on the right mocked Obama about, and ask yourself today, would you still do that? Would you still mock that man for the things you mocked him for? You mocked him for a healthcare system that you knew nothing about, nothing whatsoever. You only mocked it because Fox News told you so, because the Republican establishment told you so, told Fox so, because it cut off a strand of greed for the greediest, richest corporate combination, corporate idea in the world, and that's the pharmaceutical industry. No one is more profitable, not even the fuel industry. And the last thing they wanted was for their revenue to be cut off, and all of us have equal health care that we pay for with our taxes, 0.25% out of our taxes, something like that, less than that maybe, I don't know, plus cutting unnecessary spending on war, plus closing the loopholes on the billionaires. I always break the billionaire analogy down this simple. If a motherfucker is going to roll over and die from losing $5 billion out of his $20 billion war chest, he's better off dead. And then that money is distributed among the citizens of the world. It's called greed. Religion has performed its last evil deed on this earth, in this country particularly. This past election of Donald Trump has proven, religion took and proved everything that I, an atheist and anti-religionist, they're two different things. I know many atheists who aren't anti-religionists, who aren't outspoken. Religion took and proved us right. That even the sane people in religion, and there are millions of sane people who still go by the title of Christianity, who have churches that accept human rights across the board, but for whatever need I can't comprehend, they still want to partake in the faith of Christ, let's say. I'm not going to condemn that. I'm going to say they'd be better off without that completely, but they're happy and they're doing very, very little harm. 2/3 of the Christians do great harm. Of the active Christians in this country, 2/3 do great harm. 60% of the Catholics, I'm just a couple statistics that this lady in her blog, her name Rachel, I said, pointed out, 60% of the Catholics voted for Trump. That's not your far right. That's not your extreme right. No, not indeed. Half of the Mormons voted for Trump. The statistics didn't say Southern fucking Baptist. That's your alt-right. Southern Baptists are 90% of your alternative right, extreme right. No, Christianity as a whole voted in Donald Trump as our president, and that's your last evil deed on a grand scale in this world. You were used for the ultimate purpose, to put the most evil man, and from my history of Stalin, Trump has more evil intent than Stalin. Stalin's intent had to do with his country and the Ukraine. You have to know about the Ukraine famine and how that came to be and how Stalin got the bad rap for that, even though he was responsible for a lot of those millions and millions and millions of death. There was a famine to go along with it, and he just commandeered the only food to come out of Ukraine for the Soviets, for Russia. Evil and politics are sometimes conjoined. When they're at working best, they're not conjoined. But this evil that is called Trump has nothing to do with politics. The man knows less about politics than I do. I am far more qualified it's not measurable, to be president of the United States of America than Donald Trump. And most of my knowledgeable friends are. So many of my friends are more qualified to be president of the United States of America than Donald Trump. It looks like we're playing out a scene in the worst horror movie in history. It's like all at one time, 80% of the drinking water in this country was infected with LSD. That was the initial purpose of LSD. It was made by scientists, CIA lab scientists, and the goal was to go in and take over countries, small countries. So I'll use Cuba as an example. You contaminate their entire water supply with a certain strand of LSD, and they think the way you want them to think. Well, it's another one of those chemicals that took a big flop. It wasn't ever going to work, and it wasn't ever going to be applied. So they said, well, let's not go broke on this. Let's put it on the street. And so in the 60s, the purest forms of LSD were the ultimate high. And I went there in the early 70s when the purest forms of LSD, none of this homemade shit, none of this alternate LSD shit, CIA LSD. And there's no high like it. It's nirvana, heaven, whatever you picture heaven to be. It's everything wrapped in one. Every dream that you ever dreamed coming true. And I would gladly follow a person that said, come here. I'll make you feel more of this. I'll give you more. Come here. You'll gladly follow that person. And that was the purpose of LSD. It's almost as if a dose of chemical warfare similar to LSD was dropped in 80% of America's drinking water on Election Day, or the run-up to the election, a couple of weeks before the election. We don't talk about politics anymore. We don't hear from the Senate and the Congress anymore. We only hear from Trump. And that's Trump's desire. He had a way to appeal, and he knew ahead of time that a good, let's just call it 50% of this country is racist. And that's been moderate. But let's say that a 40% of this country is extremely racist. Extremely. The white people feel completely fucking superior to the black man in this extreme racism. It's not just, I don't like their culture. You know, you're free to say that about anything. I don't like the Arabians' culture. It has nothing to do with Islam. I just don't care for the fucking culture. Okay? To say you don't like someone's culture is one thing. It's non-acceptance. It's been blind, thinking that you only have the one suitable culture in the world, but it's not pure racism. 40% of the country is pure, hardcore racist, that the white man is superior over the black human being. And there's plenty of white women racists too, that are superior over the black human being. In certain aspects of the Jews, you never know who you're talking to, whether or not they're superior to the Jew or not. Whatever branch of Christianity they happen to be in is whether or not Israel's on a good thing or Israel's a terrible thing that needs to die again, like Hitler said. I'm not coming with this video with a solution. Part of the reason I'm coming with the video is personal and necessary, because the cuticles in my fingertips have become so split and so painful in the last 6 weeks that I can do little typing. It just hurts like thunder, and I put on lotion constantly, and I've got 3 or 4 pair of real thin gloves that I wear to keep the lotion in, and I have a pair of gloves I wear for my drumming. Drumming doesn't hurt my fingertips at all, especially with a pair of gloves on. And I was talking to a lady in a private message, and my fingers couldn't take it anymore, so I'm making this video. I am a few inches away from the firm decision that there is no hope for America anymore. No hope, because apathy is a used word that nobody who apathetic even pays any attention to it. You apathetic people, I don't care who you are. If you're a member of my family, if you're black, you're white, you're yellow, you're red, I don't care who you are. If you are apathetic, you are one step behind Donald Trump in evil. Now, I'm not a crowd type person. It's not like me to end up in a bunch of people standing before the courthouse, although in my town I would. But that's not the type of thing I know how to initiate. I'm a leader of thoughts and ideas and trends, and I can lead at work. But as far as organizing people, I don't know, to have so many different thoughts on the same topic. I'm not good at that. This is what I'm good at. And I have friends that are good at organizing. Some of them organize the Occupy movement in my home city here, Roanoke, Virginia. But Roanoke, Virginia is one of the most apathetic cities you'll ever come across. We're not red, we're not blue, we're not purple, we're not shit. As a community, this community has no opinion on anything except beauty parlors, bars, bands. And I like that part of it. I'm still working on getting my band together. We have no involvement in politics. So I got a number to my state representative, and I got a number to the U.S. State Department. And I use those numbers when required. And that's my activity. Other than being very vocal and making a hell of a lot of enemies on Facebook, even among supposed liberal. You are a supposed liberal if you fail to speak out against Trump. If you are quiet And your excuse for that quietness is, well, he's our president now. We have to support the office. You are not a fucking liberal. You are an apathetic problem in this country. That's all you are. You pretend to be liberal because maybe it seems cool to you. And we can do away with this myth that has always followed liberals around. I'm a fucking liberal. That we know no morals because we approve of things like living without marriage. Because woman breastfeeding in public, that's good. We're good with that. You know, there's no problem with that. You're an asshole if you got an issue with that. Those are liberal ideas. And all those ideas along that line of, you know, anybody can listen to whatever type of music they want. Anybody can wear the clothes that they want. There's no such thing as an immoral way to dress, an immoral type of music to hear, immoral way to feed your child, no such thing. And there's a broad spectrum of issues under liberalism that is totally against conservatives. Now, conservatives are against all these things. Free pass, wide open music. Rock and roll is still viewed as the voice of Satan among a lot of conservative Christian assholes. They have things like the Family Values Tour, where most or a lot of the men in that group of people are found committing adultery. They demonize homosexuality, and a lot of the people on the Family Values Tour are found to be gay. They're not moral, they're immoral with a moral name. So many names of conservative organizations are misleading. The name is Patriots for Freedom. Well, you read closer, you follow a couple posts, and you find out it's Patriots for the Freedom of Religious Persecution to everyone not a Christian. You find out that that's what that title means. They're very deceptive. They're all liars, intentional liars. Half of them, such as Louis Gohmert down there in Texas and his sort, are so fucking ignorant that I'm sure one of their congressional aides has to help them zip their fucking pants in the morning. They're that damn stupid. That's all bygone issues anymore. We don't talk about the viewpoints of congressmen, Democratic, liberal, or conservative anymore. It's the Trump show. It's all about the Trump show. Now, America rates number one. There are 26 or 28 industrialized advanced nations on Earth, such as Singapore, Japan, the European nations. There's 26 or 28. America, overall, in every category that matters, ranks last. We are number one in racism, which means we're last in racism as far as acceptance of races. We're last in education. We're the most ignorant of all industrialized nations. And this is not me making this up. You can Google this. If we're not the most, we're right there near it. If there's 28 industrialized nations, we're like 25th in knowledge. The one thing you do hear that's coming from the right, other than everything about Trump, is the push to put Christianity in our schoolrooms. And I've told you this before, you sorry fucks. All you're doing is admitting that your shitty churches don't work. Your Christian upbringing at home is flawed. It doesn't work at all. Your churches do not work at all. Your Sunday schools have no function whatsoever other than to take up space and time. You want to put church in the school where the teacher, who actually knows how to teach, can teach your version of lies. The Bible is a lie. The Bible is a myth. I don't pussyfoot around that. I don't appeal to no sensitivities, far left Christian, far right Christian. I will not appeal to a one of you. The Christ is a myth. Genesis never happened, so there was no sin, therefore no redemptive sacrifice. It's all bullshit. Everyone today who still buys into the myth of the Bible is intentionally ignorant. You have chosen to walk the path of, don't tell you, I don't. And do you know how many people I have actually met now since I got out of West Virginia and Arkansas and made it back to my home state? The number of people that I've met this close who say, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it, don't tell me the truth, I don't want to hear the truth, this is my opinion. It's mind-boggling. I've lost my most recent family member over it. I ain't got but 2 to go. No truth shall be spoken. We shall live in our fantasy, and you are a despised individual, and we will have nothing more to do with you, even though your health sucks and you need some help. Now, my health does suck. And I guess I've burnt up all my friends because my GoFundMe page is flatlined. And I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm still in limbo waiting for Medicaid, but I did get some encouraging news on disability. I got one letter to come. This letter was it was all right. The way it was supposed to be, it was perfect. Now, my second evaluation is what I'm waiting on now. Until this happens, I'm screwed. I've had to eliminate 4 medications from what doctors tell me I need because I just can't afford them, even at low prices with sites like GoodRx and such. And I found a charity hospital that a doctor visit costs $20, and I'm still, I can't cover it. I don't know, I'm going to end up being uncovered, and my problems are going to go untreated, even though I got a new message from the major hospital in town today. It says we have new information on a recent exploration into your body. To sum it up, I mean, that's paraphrase. I can't remember the exact words. My first thought was, "Whoo, boy, you get to check out this fucking place early," because I don't think there's any good that can happen. Because America has proven, as a whole, we don't have the backbone of Spain, of France, of Germany. We're not going to get up in the street by the millions and say, give me my fucking government back, or we're taking it, we're coming into the White House, and you'll kill a few of us on the front lines, and we got a 22nd Amendment, and this is what Second Amendment is for us to take our government when it's stolen by a dictator, by an oligarch. That's what it's for. But nobody talks about Second Amendment now. The only reason the Second Amendment was a topic because of a lie put out by the conservatives that Obama was coming for your damn guns. He ain't take my fucking gun. I'm an ignorant goddamn hillbilly. I'm from Georgia or Tennessee or West Virginia, motherfucker. He ain't take my gun, goddammit. But Trump come along and took your government, and you ignorant motherfuckers are fine with that. You're so damned ignorant that it hurts the rest of us. Your ignorance has finally spread to the point where you are hurting everybody. The same with the church. You've always hurt everybody with your indoctrination, with your damnation to hell. Those are loving words. The meme behind my profile is, honey, if you don't love me, you're going to burn in hell. So why does it sound so creepy when he says it? It was a pretty couple sitting there talking to one another. And it's so loving when your God says it. If you don't bend over and do every single tiny thing I say, even though these things are in contradiction with one another, I'm going to burn your ass in hell because I love you eternally, and forgiveness is my greatest strength. Y'all fuckers don't like wake-up calls, do you? Not many of you. I might get 14 likes on this video. What I'd like is 1,000 shares. I'd like you to take it and put it on every Trump page, every Sarah Palin page, every progressive page that calls herself liberals and needs motivated. This ain't time for mincing words. I don't have to apologize for any language. I don't have to apologize for a damn thing. Because there's never, ever in my life, I've been a bad guy, according to society. I was the one your mother warned you about when you were growing up. I didn't fall in with the bad crowd. I was the bad crowd. But I never hurt hardly anybody. I was just out to set myself free from the stranglehold of Jehovah's Witnesses. But anyway, this is already going on a good long time. But I think it's moved fast, and there's going to be more on this topic. I don't have a solution yet as to what we can all do, but we'll work toward that. And if there's one chance that we can ward off this hell that's coming, we'll find it together. It's Steve out.